Bonjour, French 2B students. This is Mrs. Krumschreider with your teaching video for Lesson 22A. We'll be covering pages 318 to 320 in your textbook. S'il vous plaît, ouvrez vos livres à la page 318. Leçon 22, vive le week-end. Le week-end, nous avons nos occupations préférées. Certaines personnes aiment aller en ville et rencontrer leurs amis. D'autres préfèrent rester à la maison et bricoler. Qu'est-ce que les personnes suivantes ont fait le week-end dernier? So, live for the weekend. On weekends, we have our preferred occupations. Some people like to go in town and meet their friends. Others prefer to stay at home and do things around the house. What did the following people do last weekend? So, what we're going to see here is this lesson is about learning how to talk about things in the past tense. So what we see here are two columns, le weekend, okay, so this is going to be sort of like our present tense column. And then we're going to see le weekend dernier, which is going to be our past tense, past tense column. So again, if you would follow along as I read. Le weekend. J'aime acheter des vêtements. J'ai acheté des vêtements. Tu aimes réparer ton vélo. Tu as réparé ton vélo. Monsieur Lambert aime travailler dans le jardin. Il a travaillé dans le jardin. Nous aimons organiser des booms. Nous avons organisé une boom. Vous aimez jouer au foot. Vous avez joué au foot. Pluton et Philbert aiment rencontrer leurs amis. Ils ont rencontré leurs amis. So kind of going back and looking at the translations of this. So this first one here is saying, I like to buy some clothes. I bought some clothes. You like to fix your bike. You fixed your bike. Mr. Lambert likes to work in the garden. He worked in the garden. We like to organize parties. We organized a party. And we have silence ou j'appelle la police. You like to play soccer. You played soccer. Pluton and Philbert like to meet their friends. They met their friends. So again, today isn't the day that we're specifically going to talk about this, but I do want you to start to kind of notice, right? How many words does it take to form these past tense? Notice that every time we have two words. And hopefully you've noticed that all of the first words, right? So for the past tense, we see that it's going to require two words. Okay. And hopefully you've noticed that the first word is a form of avoir. And so that's what we're going to be doing today in our lesson, is just reviewing the forms of avoir that you learned way back in French 1. This one here with the silence, right? Silence, 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 or I'm calling the police. So don't be those kids. So we have note culturelle, le week-end. Le week-end ne commence pas le vendredi soir pour tout le monde. Dans beaucoup d'écoles françaises, les élèves ont classe le samedi matin. Pour eux, le week-end commence seulement le samedi à midi. Que font les gens français le samedi? Ça dépend. Beaucoup vont en ville. Ils vont dans les magasins pour écouter les nouveaux CD ou pour regarder, essayer et parfois acheter des vêtements. Ils vont au café ou au cinéma avec leurs copains. Certains préfèrent louer un film et rester chez eux ou aller chez des copains. Parfois, ils vont à une soirée. Là, on écoute de la musique, on mange des sandwichs et on danse. En général, le dimanche est réservé aux activités familiales. En week-end, on dîne des cousins. Un week-end, on invite des cousins. Un autre week-end, on rend visite aux grands-parents. Le dimanche, on déjeune et on dîne en famille. Le soir, on regarde la télé et souvent on fait ses devoirs pour les classes du lundi matin. So, again, the title tells us that we're talking about weekends. The weekend does not begin Friday nights for everyone. In a lot of French schools, the students have classes Saturday mornings. For them, the weekend starts only Saturday at noon. What do the young French people do on Saturdays? It depends. Many go in town. They go in the stores to listen to new CDs or to look at, try on, and sometimes buy some clothes. They go to a cafe or to a movie theater with their friends. Some of them prefer to rent a movie and stay at their house or go to a friend's house. Sometimes they go to a party. There they listen to music, eat sandwiches, and dance. In general, Sundays are reserved for family activities. One weekend, one invites the cousins. Another weekend, one visits the grandparents. On Sundays, one has lunch and one has dinner at home with the family. In the evenings, one watches TV and often one does his or her homework for their Monday morning classes. So remember when we talked quite a while ago back in French 1 about schedules of French students. Remember their schedules are unlike ours. They don't have the same classes every day of the week. They have more like what we think of as a college schedule where their classes change from day to day. Alright, so les expressions avec avoir. Note the use of avoir in the following sentences. J'ai faim. Brigitte a soif. French speakers use avoir in many expressions where English speakers use the verb to be. So remember that avoir technically means to have. So it's a little bit weird. If we were really literally translating this, we'd say, I have hunger. Bridget has thirst. Now, some of these expressions in this yellow box you've seen before, right? You've had avoir faim and avoir soif, and I think you've had avoir chaud and avoir froid before, but some of these are new. S'il vous plaît, répétez avoir chaud. Avoir chaud. Quand j'ai chaud en été, je vais à la plage. Avoir froid. Avoir froid. Est-ce que tu as froid? Voici ton pull. Avoir faim. Avoir faim. Tu as faim? Est-ce que tu veux une pizza? Avoir soif. Avoir soif. J'ai soif. Je voudrais une limonade. Avoir raison. Avoir raison. Est-ce que les profs ont toujours raison? Avoir tort. Avoir tort. Marc ne fait pas ses devoirs. Il a tort. Avoir de la chance. Avoir de la chance. J'ai de la chance. J'ai des amis sympathiques. So working through the translation there, when I am hot in the summer or feel hot or warm in the summer, I go to the beach. Are you cold? Here's your sweater. Are you hungry? Do you want a pizza? I'm thirsty. I would like a lemonade. Are the teachers always right? Mark did not do his homework. He is wrong. I am lucky. I have nice friends. So it's going to be important because we saw in our introduction to this lesson that to talk about the past tense, we're going to have to use avoir in our forms of avoir. So to review really quickly the conjugations of the verb avoir, hopefully you can fill this in on your own. But remember for avoir, it's j'ai, tu as, il, elle, on a, nous avons, vous avez, and il and elle pluriel ont. S'il vous plaît, répétez avoir, j'ai, tu as, on a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. And remember, if I wanted to make these negative, right, this would become je n'ai pas, tu n'as pas, on n'a pas, nous n'avons pas, vous n'avez pas, and il or elle n'ont pas. Okay. So, again, you have learned this verb previously. We're just reviewing it because we're going to use it as we start to learn the passé composé in this lesson, which is the past tense. Taking a look at exercise 1. Tort ou raison. Informez-vous sur les personnes suivantes et dites si, à votre avis, elles ont tort ou raison. So inform yourself on the following people and say if, in your opinion, they are wrong or right. So our first example, les élèves ne font pas leurs devoirs. The students didn't do their homework. So certainly as a teacher, I would say, ils ont tort. Notice, the only part of the sentence we're using is we're using the subject, and we're using it, changing it to its subject pronoun, right? Then we're using the conjugated form of the verb avoir in either tort or raison. Our second example, tu écoutes le prof. You listen to the teacher. So we have tu as raison. So again, remember your forms of avoir, right? J'ai, a, avons, avez, and ont. So I'll read the sentence. I'm going to give you a moment to say it out loud as you watch this video. And remember, if you need more time than I give you, you could certainly pause the video. And then I'm going to say the answer. Ce numéro 1, Catherine est généreuse avec ses copines. Elle a raison. 2. Nous aidons nos parents. Nous avons raison. 3. Tu fais tes devoirs. Tu as raison. 4. Vous êtes très impatient avec vos amis. Vous avez tort. 5. Mes copains étudient le français. Ils ont raison. 6. Jean-François dépense son argent inutilement. Il a tort. 7. Monsieur le Gros mange trop. Il a tort. 8. Alain et Nicolas sont impolis. Ils ont tort. 9. Vous rangez votre chambre. Vous avez raison. 10. Léa est polie avec les voisins. Elle a raison. Exercice 2. De bonnes questions. So, good questions. Étudiez ce que font les personnes suivantes. Ensuite, posez une question logique sur chaque personne. Pour cela, utilisez l'une des expressions suivantes. Avoir faim, avoir soif, avoir chaud, avoir froid, avoir de la chance. So study what the following people are doing. Then ask a logical question of each person. For that, use one of the following expressions. To be hungry, to be thirsty, to be warm, to be cold, to be lucky. So look at our example again, right? Philippe va au restaurant. So Philippe is going to the restaurant. So for these reasons that are listed here, why would he maybe be going to a restaurant? Maybe he's hungry. So we're going to ask, est-ce que Philippe a faim? So remember, the est que is going to be in all of our answers, right? The Philippe, right? That's the same. So our subject is going to stay the same as what we have. Then next, right, we're using our form of avoir. So remember our forms of avoir, okay, are j'ai, tu as, avons, avez, and ont. And then again, the last part of this here is we're choosing something from up here. Okay, that makes sense. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read what you see in your book. I'll give you a little bit of time to come up with the question and to say it out loud, and then you'll hear me give you the answer. So numéro 1, tu veux un soda? Est-ce que tu as soif? 2. Jean-Pierre mange une pizza. Est-ce qu'il a faim? Numéro 3. Cécile porte un manteau. Est-ce qu'elle a froid? Numéro 4. Vous gagnez à la loterie. Est-ce que vous avez de la chance? 5. Vous faites des sandwichs. Est-ce que vous avez faim? 6. Tu mets ton blouson. Est-ce que tu as froid? Numéro 7. Mes copains vont aller à la piscine. Est-ce qu'ils ont chaud? Your book also said you could have had est-ce qu'ils ont de la chance. 8. Ces élèves n'étudient pas beaucoup, mais ils réussissent toujours à leurs examens. Est-ce qu'ils ont de la chance? Et 9. Tu as des grands-parents très généreux. Est-ce que tu as de la chance? So your homework number 4 is on page 320, exercises 1 and 2. Remember, I want you to set up your homework assignments even when you're typing them with the assignment at the top, your name, your date, the period at the top of your paper as well. And then you're going to have the exercise, and remember, you're going to number each question within that. Okay? So again, the directions here were to inform yourself about the following people and say if, in your opinion, they are right or wrong. So you're just writing out those sentences. And remember, you were using the same subject as they gave you, and then your form of avoir in either tort or raison. So numéro 1, Catherine est généreuse avec ses copines. So it would be elle a raison. 2, nous aidons nos parents. So it'd be nous avons raison. It's important you're practicing your conjugations of the verb avoir. Okay, so again, you're going to do that for the 8 of those. For exercise 2, study what the following people are doing, then ask a logical question to each person. For each, use one of the expressions that are following. So again, you're going to have exercise 2 on your paper, and we have tu veux un soda, so you would ask, est-ce que tu as soif? Are you thirsty? Okay. Number 2, Jean-Pierre mange une pizza. Est-ce que, and don't forget, with il or elle, it's going to be Q-U apostrophe, il a femme. So again, you're going to write questions out like that for the 9 of those. And I said 8 over here, but you're actually going to do all 10. Just some of the exercises cut off. So that's what you're doing for your homework assignment. Au revoir. À demain.